Gather round, friends, new and old, and welcome to the POWWOW podcast. I am one of your hosts, Philip.
And I'm the other one, David.
And I'm the other one, he says. Goodness gracious. David, do you know that we are currently in a circle of life moment here? We came out to greet each other at the moment that you went to LA for Super Bowl 55, and we are ending your LA
56, bro.
Well, f*** it all then. Never mind. My whole analogy is out the door. Forget it. It's over. Never mind.
Well,
How the
please
hell?
complete the analogy so that we can just follow your train of thought here.
Well, my thought was it's episode 55, and I thought it was Super Bowl
Truly.
55, so it would be fully complete. And now it matters not. It
Right.
matters not whatsoever.
Truly not.
So,
Well,
anyways,
I'm glad we went on that journey together.
Yes, absolutely. How was your week? You spent the week, as we know, last week in Kentucky, and so now you're back in LA for
Back
some
in the
time.
City of Angels. Yes, I was in Kentucky. It was chill, seeing some family. That's it. Not really much to say.
To report.
And now I'm back in LA. I'm super busy trying to see a lot of people before I head back home.
Kentucky in the farmland. Did you birth any horses while out there?
It's not horse birthing season, I don't think. I think that would be.
Is there a season?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that horses are really born in the. Are any animals born in the winter? That's so strange to me. Like I don't think they are.
Jesus was born in the winter, but I guess he's not an animal.
That was in the Middle East. It was warm.
Oh man, how we get here and how we do this is always a mystery to me. But we do have a very special guest to bring on, so let's get right to the main topic.
Hey, a rare occasion here. Sitting in studio with me is Jake Corlang. We've had him on before. I should really say I'm in studio with him because this is his studio.
It's in your summer studios, yes, David.
Sweet Emotion Studios.
Sweet Emotions. Oh, I love that.
I like
That's
that.
So good.
Okay, I haven't even called it that before, but now here it is. It's Sweet Emotion Studios.
It's birthed forevermore.
It's birthed. Just like the horses of Kentucky, it's birthed.
It's birthed. It's birthing season.
Sweet Emotions. Just so the listeners understand, Sweet Emotions. Jake, you are Swedish.
Yeah, so we are in my home studio right now, and at home I live with my girlfriend Lynn, and we are both Swedish and also huge Aerosmith fans. So our Wi-Fi router is called Swede Emotion. It's cheesy, but like we find it funny, and we pay rent here, so
so deal with it.
Exactly. And now, as of the past 30, 40, 50 seconds, this workspace has now become Sweet Emotion Studios.
Da, 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 da. There we go. Wonderful.
Yeah,
and of course,
this is the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is. I wish I had some sort of a cut sounder, but Jake Corling, of course, of immortality, of slapping basses and slapping people if need be. If they get too close to the stage, I'm sure he's acted as security before. As we all know, he is a veteran of the stage, playing the bass amongst other many great musical attire, but it is because of your musical skills, Jake, that we traverse over to the concert space. David, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about concerts, live shows that we've been to, the best stories. And really, it's a good thing that I brought Jake on because I don't have a lot of stories. I haven't been to a lot of concerts. As much as I may regret that, I know that somebody has, and that is this guy sitting right next to me, and that's Jake Corlang.
I've been to a few.
Yeah, Jake, you've been a part of many. Have you seen a lot? Have you been a viewer? An audience member?
Yes. Before my venture as a professional musician, I was a avid live music fan, and I'm still am to this day.
I was going to say you still go out and watch. It's like the actor who goes out and watches movies.
Absolutely. It's a little different now. Now it's more like instead of this band I really really love. It's more like, my friends are playing with this band I really, really love. So I'm going to go see them. And then I get to go hang out with the band. It's crazy. It's awesome. But no, before that's pretty much where all of my allowance went, was just going to concert tickets and train tickets to get to the concert. I'm actually very excited. when the time is right. I have a very, very fun concert experience with our co-host here that I'm excited to talk about. And because Phil, I'm sure you're gonna love this story. But yes,
I can't wait. I wanted to start us out here at this one specific juncture, but stop me if this is where that goes. Was it your first concert experience ever, Hoffman?
No, that wasn't my first. Although it was one of my first. My first concert experience was like I was front row. It was amazing. And then when you find out who the artist was, it was Agnes Obel, who's like a piano, cello kind of music. It was so like relaxing. You like get into this trance. So I remember posting a photo saying like front row at the concert, and someone was like, "Oh my god, what band?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Agnes Obel," and they were like, "Oh, okay." I guess that's cool. I was sitting next to like 70-year-old people who were like sitting there with their like suits on, like gone to the concert, you know?
Wasn't Agnes, then you find out about Agnes Obel through a play you were in?
Yeah, we were doing our high school play that year we used a bunch of her music. So a whole cast went to this show. It was really cool.
I remember you going to that.
Yeah, you became a fan through work, through homework,
Precisely.
if nothing else. Yes, of course.
Yes.
Jake, what was your first concert experience?
So my first concert, I'm actually very proud of. Not saying that, David, you should be.
I'm proud of mine.
Oh, yeah. No, so I went to my first concert when I was, I think, 12 years old. And my dad it was a Christmas present. We got tickets to go see Velvet Revolver at the Heineken Music Hall in Amsterdam. And if you're unfamiliar with who Velvet Revolver is, it's a super group comprised of members from Guns N' Roses and Stone Temple Pilots. So it's Slash, Duff McKagan, Matt Sorum from Guns N' Roses with Scott Weiland from the Stone Temple Pilots. And that was my first concert ever, was pretty much seeing Slash, who like I idolized as a kid.
Of course.
And I was really nervous.
You were nervous? Why were you nervous?
I didn't know if I could handle being in the presence of Slash when I was 12. I didn't know what would happen. I'd never been to a concert. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how loud it was going to be. I didn't know how crazy people were going to get. I was nervous. Like everyone was like, we were driving over there with like anxiety. Everyone in the car was like, Jake, you must be so pumped. Like you're being so cool about this. I remember when I went to my first concert, I couldn't sleep for a week, and I probably couldn't sleep for a week out of like fear, let alone excitement. But I don't know, it was the coolest experience ever for like a 12-year-old. I'm just seeing like a really badass rock band just play and thrive, and seeing just like literally legends on stage playing. And what's cool, and why I say like this is a really, really cool first concert, is that was actually the last show of their tour on this new album that they had put out at the time. But then a few years later, they kind of all split up and started doing different ventures. So that project itself got put aside. And then a few years later, actually, the singer, Scott Weiland, had passed away. So the band Velvet Revolver actually can never be what it was or come back. So I have actually seen my first concert was the last Velvet Revolver concert ever.
That will ever truly be what it was. Wow, that's a great first concert story, and it's going to make me feel like absolute poop when I tell you what mine was. Mine was Barney live in concert, and
that's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, are you guys being from Europe? You guys, do you have some familiarity with Barney?
Absolutely.
Okay, Barney the dinosaur, yes.
Barney the dinosaur, yes. His social influence is widespreading, as it seems. Yes, Barney the dinosaur. Even though I was there mentally, I wasn't there. I don't recall it, but I hear from stories that I made an absolute cute little fool of myself dancing in the aisles, and I wasn't alone.
And what were you, like 17?
Oh, yeah, you know. I was actually chop 10 years off. I was probably around 7, 6, somewhere in that age range. And I think somewhere in the house there might be a souvenir hat that my family got. But otherwise, I don't recall. I don't recollect. My mom, though, absolutely cherishes that memory. First concert ever. And actually, if I'm being honest, outside of maybe like Ice-capades that's traveling through like a Disney ice show, probably my like last concert for until I was in my 20s. So it was a lasting memory, and I guess not a good one if it didn't hook me, if it didn't make me want to go and see more concerts. But that was my first. Let's flip it, since we have an interesting one to come back to. What was your last concert that you went to? Your last concert that you went to. Jake, you first, since you're probably the most recent amongst us.
I was at the Troubadour last night.
Last night? Wow.
Yeah, last night. I went to the Troubadour last night.
I went to see this morning a concert. Yeah, no.
No,
Okay.
I have some friends that play in a band called King Queen, and they were playing at the Troubadour last night. So Lynn and I went to go check them out, and it was actually funny. This is just LA music community for you. Is I went, and the opening band, the bass player was a friend I went to college with, and I was like, okay, no way, like like that. Aubrey's playing bass. Okay, cool. Like that's what's fun about playing out here and going to concerts here is there's such a live music community that you just never know who you're going to bump into. Oh, and then like when we left the concert, in line was like a tour manager from like a run that I did a couple of years ago. So it's just funny when you like go out and bump into everybody.
Before we move on to you, David, I do want to ask Jake. It would feel amiss if we did not utilize you as an expert in your field. Is it possible for you to go to a concert and enjoy it as just I don't know? I can only relate it to movies, where even though I myself have been an actor, David is an actor, and I'm sure whenever we sit down and watch a movie, it's really hard not to to just sit back and enjoy Marley and Me without thinking how well the acting performance is, how well the cinematography, yada yada yada. Can you still? Do you and your girlfriend Lynn, who also does concerts, does harmonize as well as a singer, do you guys have it in you whenever you're exiting a concert being like, wow, that was a really great concert? Or could it be like, man, the harmonies were off, or like, yeah, the bass was just not that slapping today? Is it possible for you to just sit back and enjoy a concert just as an entertainment value?
I'd say, I mean, as you mentioned, like with you and David kind of watching, like say if you guys were to go to a play or watch a movie, you can pick up on different things and you can notice different things that you can't help but going to a show. Because like you kind of say if you're seeing something and like you're watching a band react and how a performance, say like you can kind of notice if they're reacting positively or poorly. Then you kind of think like, oh, I wonder if like something's wrong with their monitors, or like, oh, I'm wondering if like something's going on over that you can kind of relate to. But because of that, I think you can appreciate a live concert more in a different way, because you can kind of if I say like a band just really, really went up there and smashed it and they just killed it and the music was great, you were entertained, you're having like, you as a listener, you're fun, you kind of appreciate the show more because you know like what goes into that and all the things that could have gone wrong and the things that could have happened. So if I see like a band and they really, really, brought it and they played, like I'm even a little bit more like hats off, because I know that's not an easy thing.
But I'm sure there's a flip side when you see a show that really doesn't go off well. Maybe I wouldn't even pick up on that, like all the things that went wrong, and then you might. You're just more in tune with all those mistakes and those things that sort of.
No, absolutely. But I mean, I try to still like say if I was going to see a band that I really like, try to let go of like the whole that and be like and try to enjoy the show as a listener and not like a Yelp reviewer.
Right.
Yeah. Like there's some, I don't want to be like that guy either. There's
because I'm sure you'd say first and foremost, you're a fan of music.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what the equivalent to that is for us, David? That's us really loving another round, and then the average person just being like, well, whatever, it's a fun movie. Yeah,
I didn't want to read subtitles.
Whereas an artist, you're like, oh my god, I love that so much. So the artistic choices, and then just completely falls on deaf ears. David, exactly. What was your last concert that you went to?
That's a tough question. I'm trying to remember what my last actual I paid $50 to $100 for a concert ticket and went to this concert thing was, because most of the music that I've enjoyed over the past several years has been either through Jake or, I go to bars where there's a band playing that night at a sort of venue, but not, it's like you pay $10 to get in or something or something like that. It's not bands that I've been fans of for years, been a fan of for years. And I bought tickets a month ahead of time and went to this concert. The last concert I went to I don't think I ever went to a concert while I was living in LA, money being the main reason for that. The last concert I went to was probably when I was living in the UK when I was going to university, which is kind of shocking. Like I haven't been to a concert in years. I mean, I go see a lot of live shows, but not really so much concerts. The last one I went to might have been the Pretty Reckless
Oh, they're rad.
in London. Yeah,
They're rad.
Taylor Momsen and a bunch of 40-year-old dudes. But no, they jam, man. They're like they rock out for sure. It was a great concert. So I went to go see that in Brixton in London. That's the last one that I remember very clearly going to, and that was when I was at university. It was great. It was a great show for sure.
My last concert that I went to, and I would be shocked. I'd be shocked if you knew David Hoffman, Jay Corling. You might, just because you're in the business. But last concert I went to, somehow my younger sister, stumbled onto this, and I was like, "Yeah, of course I'll go. I'll take you if that's what you want." Last concert I went to, the Piano Guys concert. Have you guys ever heard of the Piano Guys?
No,
Can't say
No.
that I do, but I'm intrigued. I'd like to listen.
Yes.
I'd like to know more about the Piano Guys.
Yes, please. I click more to learn more here. The Piano Guys are a YouTube channel duo, probably amongst the first, I would say, whenever YouTube was first coming on, and they do a lot of their stuff is just making popular songs converted onto a piano, and for that effort, also adding a violin or a cello or something, and what they do, I would think of it more so along the lines of wedding scenery setting fluff. Kind of, it's like, oh, I Think I Want to Marry You by Bruno Mars, but in piano, exclusively in piano. And
Yeah.
they made a career out of it. And I went last with my sister. I took her. It was a smaller concert venue, but it was still big enough to be where we purchased tickets. And it was good for what they did. They added and inserted a lot of humor into the show, which I think was sorely needed. And then plus they imported a choir. Which once you import a choir from somewhere, it doesn't even matter if it's like the Puppeteers choir of Gilbert, Arizona. It makes it so much bigger than what it is. Once you bring on like a choir like Madonna is about to sing like a virgin, it's just it automatically creates an awe-struck moment. So that was my last concert. Let me go to notable concert stories, and we'll end here with Jake, but we'll start here with me since mine's probably the least, but it's still there. My awe concert moment was when I went to a concert. Just fun little stories that we're talking about. When I went to a concert, and it was with Billy Joel, and Gavin DeGraw opened for Billy Joel, and it was a couple years ago. That was just one of my favorite concert memories. I don't think in my mind I'll ever forget seeing Billy Joel sweat profusely down there while pounding away at a piano, while getting up from his seat and getting up to play the guitar. It was just, I think that's a memory that I'll always treasure. And I'm not one of those people who takes a lot of photos or pictures. And I think I might have one or two from that concert, but it just, I hope to God that I will have that seared in my memory until my dying day of seeing Billy Joel actually perform and play. He played Vienna, which is like my favorite Billy Joel song, but it's amongst the lesser ones. It's not one of the more popular ones. It's not like We Started the Fire. And it was on the random generator thing, right? He's like, hey, audience, which song do you want us to play? Do you want Vienna or do you want I don't even know, just another one? And luckily Vienna won. And it's just, that's one of my favorite concert moments, favorite concert memories. David, let's go to you next. What's one of your favorite concert memories?
Well, I'll leave my favorite probably to this guy in a second.
I want to hear your perspective on it.
Oh, we'll get there. I had always wanted, like Jake can attest to this, throughout high school, my favorite band was 3 Days Grace. And I'd always wanted to see them. Like I'd watched their concert movie when they played live in Detroit.
Wow.
And it was just amazing. I was so excited to one day get the opportunity to see them. And I love the vocalist, Adam Gontier, amazing voice, and then the band, he left the band. And by the time I got to see them live in Amsterdam, by the time they actually did a European tour, after the point that I had discovered them, let's say, he wasn't with the band anymore, and they had gotten the bassist's brother to be the vocalist from that point on, and the band changed. I mean, it was like this is this is not the most exciting story, but it is one of the more notable experiences that I had in concert. It was a great concert. It was a great show. I had fun, but it just wasn't. It just wasn't. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. I have one confession to make. So I haven't been to a lot of concerts, but I will say this is another thing that's probably noteworthy, and it's a confession. My first ever rock concert was Nickelback.
Ooh,
Never made it as a wise man.
Look at this graph. I actually like Nickelback.
I don't dislike. I like a lot of their I actually think "How You Remind Me" is a great song.
Yeah,
but yeah, they get a lot of flack. I was a good concert. I sat up in the I wasn't in the standing area. I sort of sat and watched it happen. Watched the concert. It was good. It's a good concert. Yeah, that was my first ever rock concert.
How was the wash afterwards, David? After the concert?
What do you mean? I don't know where you're going with this.
From people throwing food at you as you exit the stands for all the hatred and everything else, akin to like a mink coat, like a person wearing a mink coat and them throwing pita blood on it or whatever, or red paint or something.
Yeah, no, it was a supportive crowd.
Good.
Well, I feel like
you're amongst friends.
Like Nickelback community has our concert has to be like a safe space for Nickelback fans, right?
It's our only safe space.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right, Jake, let's go at the moment of truth. What is this concert experience?
I just want to say, wait, hold on. This is the night after Nickelback.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
And it was at the same venue as well. I went 2 nights in a row to the same venue. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. I forgot that they would play the night before this.
Yeah.
Okay. So for my 18th birthday, David and our friend Philip POWWOW graciously bought me and them tickets to go see the Avenged Sevenfold in Amsterdam. And for people unfamiliar with the Avenged Sevenfold, they're a hard rock metal band.
Right.
And we had listened to a lot of Avenged Sevenfold, especially freshman year of high school. That was like when Nightmare came out, that was like our soundtrack. We would eat popcorn in my living room and just like have mosh pits and listen to the Avenged Sevenfold. We got tickets. It was the 3 of us. We're excited to go. I wasn't scared of concerts anymore, so I thought. And we went. And I didn't know this till we got to the show, but the direct support for Avenged Sevenfold was a band called Five Finger Death Punch. And if unfamiliar with the name, or not if you're unfamiliar with the band, as you can tell by their name, they mean business. Like they're a heavy rock band. Before I forgot another band. You
can't leave out.
Okay, actually, no, David, can you talk about the first opening band?
Avenged Sevenfold definitely has earned 2 opening acts, right? So opening for Five Finger Death Punch was this band called Avatar, and they were like this almost like this caricature of a metal band. They were all wearing like these costumes. The guy had like, what was he? Did he have a top hat on, or am I imagining that? He had like a cane and like this long
the singer,
leather jacket.
Yeah, the singer definitely like had a character where he was kind of like this scary clown henchman.
They were Swedish. I'll say that as well, because they came on and they were like, "Hello, Amsterdam. We are your new favorite band, Avatar." And we were like, "Oh,
I guess this is this is my new favorite band then."
Yeah.
But no, and the guitar player had dreadlocks literally down to his feet. Like they were the longest dreads I have ever seen, and also just like white skinny Swedish guy with like dreads all the way down. And he would do this like windmill thing with his hair, where he kind of like shakes his head and his hair kind of starts doing like a windmill. And that was honestly kind of cool to see him do that with those like 6 feet dreadlocks just going up and down.
Definitely. The venue wasn't alive at that it wasn't popping yet.
No.
But people were filtering in at that stage, and we just sort of stood there and we were like, yeah, all right.
It was like, I would say it was a good show, because it's not like we weren't entertained.
No, yeah, absolutely.
We were definitely like, we couldn't help but watch what was going on.
Right.
And also it was probably honestly just water, but he had like a kerosene or like gasoline container that he would like drink out of. Like he had like all these kind of weird stage antics.
Yeah.
And they had like this song that was called "Smells Like a Freak Show." And we never really understood what that meant.
Yeah.
And it kind of became like a inside joke afterwards, after the show, being like, yeah, it smells kind of weird late in here. Oh, does this smell like a freak show?
A freak show, you mean? Or?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
So then cut to like that they performed on this tiny little front section of the stage. They had to remove all that, open come the curtains, and there's they're setting up for Five Finger Death Punch.
And as David mentioned before, as Avatar was performing, the audience was pretty tame. It was like no one was going crazy.
No one knew the band. It was there was this one guy behind us who was like going nuts. That one guy, I'm pretty sure one guy behind us was like going nuts for Avatar.
Did he have dreads?
No, he was like this skinny kid with like short hair. I don't remember exactly, but anyway, so go on, Jake.
And I remember our friend Philip, was excited. He was the only one of the three of us that knew Five Finger Death Punch, because they have a cover of Bad Company's Bad Company, which is like a pretty tame song. Like it's not like super aggressive. So it's kind of like Disturbed's version of Sound of Silence. But once Five Finger Death Punch came on stage and hit the first downbeat, it became pandemonium at this venue. It became like anarchy, every man for himself. People were we were at a Five Finger Death Punch concert at that point. It was insane. It exploded. There was like full on mosh pit. I think people were literally setting off flares inside this venue. Like there was people tackling each other. Like it wasn't even like necessarily like mosh pits. Like people were straight up fighting. Like people were just straight up getting in fist fights. And there was this thing, like the mosh pit eventually opened up, and Philip and I are on one side and David got caught on the other side. So I remember standing there and just seeing David getting pulled away.
Carried away by this
pulled away by this crowd of people. And I'm like seeing his hands like reaching out to us as he's like like just getting pulled away from us. And like Philip and I are just like, oh my God, we lost David. Like, we've lost David. I'm like, what do we do? And we're like, as I said, it was so just every man for himself at that point in the gig. We're just like, if we leave, if we try to go find him, we don't know if we're going to come back. I don't know.
I remember getting pulled away and looking around, and I couldn't see Jake and Phil anymore. And so I was like, oh my God. And there was still Five Finger Death Punch, not a band I knew. I mean, I was having a great time. I was trying to like sort of nudge, like you gotta, if you're in a mosh pit, you gotta be aggressive. Like you can't just let it happen to you. You gotta sort of ride the wave. So I was getting into that. And then I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to try to get to the front. I'm going to try to like wiggle my way to the front of the crowd. And I did. I sort of pushed, like I was small enough at that stage, I guess. I was trying to squeeze through people. Yeah. And eventually I got up to like the third row. And by that point, I think Five Finger Death Punch had played their 5 or whatever songs. And that part was over. And then it took like 20 minutes for Avenged Sevenfold. Again, like they clear all the Five Finger Death Punch away, and then the curtains, open, and there's the huge, stage set for Avenged Sevenfold. And I was like 2 people from the front at that point. And yeah, and then Avenged Sevenfold come on.
Yeah, as we've lost David, Philip and I have kind of just accepted like we've lost David. David is gone. Like we don't know.
David is one with the crowd.
Yeah, like we do not know when we will see David Hoffman again. And this is like a 5,000-6,000 cap venue too, so it's not like we can just go around looking for him. So we're just kind of like, okay, I guess at the end of the show, hopefully we'll have service and we can figure find
right. Yeah, because this is what 2013, so. Like it was not like today where there's pretty much self-service in any venue that you ever go to. I had my phone with me, but
yeah, and I've always been really bad at having a charged phone to begin with, so so I could have been running low. But what I was trying to say, so Avenged Sevenfold has played their set, and they are on their second encore, and we still have not seen David. This is an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
But hold on, like my side of that is like I stayed at the front for maybe 4 songs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many songs they played. For maybe 4 songs. I was like getting squeezed to death. I got a few videos. I was there for like M Shadows, like when they started with Shepherd of Fire. If you know the band, Shepherd of Fire, great opening song. I stayed there for about 4 songs. Then I was like, I can't take it anymore. I was like, I couldn't breathe. I was like, I got to get out of here. So I moved back, And from that point on, I was enjoying the concert, but I was all the while like walking around looking for Jake and Philip. It took me until like almost the end of the show before I found them again.
And when we bumped into David, oh my God, you were drenched in sweat.
Not my sweat.
Not even
my sweat.
But the sheer look of relief in your eyes when you found us. And I'm just like looking at you. I just see that you had just been through some
Yeah.
I was just like, Philip and I were in a very comfortable position. We saw the stage. We weren't in all the craziness. But when David came back, it looked like he had just been like lost in the jungle for 6 weeks or something and just found life, because he was so relieved, dehydrated, covered in sweat, which allegedly wasn't his own.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
and yeah, that was I cannot tell you how much I stank. It was terrible. But amazing concert experience. Like so much fun.
We live to tell the tale.
Yeah, it's so much fun. That's definitely enough concert stories. Let's
get hot and sweaty into this next thing. This episode of POWWOW Podcast is sponsored by Sides.
Meet Sides, SIDES, an app that helps you take the law into your own hands.
Turn ordinary agreements into binding contracts in seconds. Then if a dispute arises, Sides will step in to resolve it for you.
Wait, Phil, that was supposed to be my line.
What did we agree to in the contract?
I don't know. I guess we can use Sides to settle this dispute, because each dispute costs a small one-time fee.
And if you win, which I will, it's all awarded back to you.
Sign up now and get 16% off for a limited time only.
You Will Be Missed is our mini seg for this week. David, why don't you start us off?
All right. A damn good burrito. When I leave LA, gone will be the opportunity to get a damn good burrito. I'm not talking about just Chipotle, but the numerous and abundant restaurants and food trucks that produce the little donkey with grace and aplomb. The opportunity to get a damn good burrito. You will be missed.
With the end of winter comes the end of a fashion era, and that era is the end of the hoodie season. Now, I'm not just talking any hoodie, I'm talking about the extra kangaroo pouch, and that, the most of all, for extra storage and what have you, will be missed. We still have Jake Corling on here to help move us through the show. And Jake, what we're going to present to you are me and David's top 3 music-based movies. And we're going to have you choose which one of them you would prefer to sit through and watch from beginning to end. I think that that's a fair assessment. Wouldn't you say, Hoffman?
Yeah.
I think David I would think you know me well enough that you already know exactly what movie
here
to say.
Well, I do have a couple ideas. I did try to keep it pure from my perspective.
Sure, yes. From our perspective, hoping that Jake will want to enjoy them, but not aiming to win anything, really. And I would be curious. I sincerely doubt that we will have any of the same movies here, David. But why don't you go ahead and give your list first to Jake?
I really considered going with, some of the bigger ones like Bohemian Rhapsody, which I didn't really love that much, but the movies like that, Judy, The United States versus Billie Holiday, any of those. But you know what? I'm going to go with Whiplash. I love that movie, especially as a drummer. And I love J.K. Simmons.
That's great.
Good one. And then a little bit of the rest is I love to laugh. So we're going comedy. We're going to start out with Eurovision, a film that Phil, you and I watched together.
We did.
It was it's an entertaining film for sure. Nothing special, but remarkably entertaining, and some good songs in there as well. And then lastly, this one is for you, man. The Rocker, a movie that Jake showed me.
Great.
That we watched multiple times together back when we were teenagers. Yeah, Rainn Wilson as a drummer from this band, and it's just so funny. So funny. I actually need to watch that again. It's been a long time.
It's a great movie. So
well, there you go. The Rocker, Whiplash, and Eurovision.
It'll be hard to beat that for Jake, so I'm already pretty much giving up to an L here. But the one thing that all of my movies seem to have is that they all have a strong R theme. I don't know what that means, but first one will be Rent. Based off the musical, of course. It would be amiss of me to go without a musical movie, and that will be it. The next one that might actually intrigue Jake would be August Rush. Of course, having multiple good performances here in there, including the genie Robin Williams himself has a interesting little part and near cameo performance there. And then finally, we're going to go with Ray, one of the best performances I've seen in a film by Jamie Foxx. And if nothing else here, folks, it's a normal biopic, but the performance itself makes you
I'll say from my
legitimately.
perspective,
Yes.
that is of the 6 movies we've just named, that is like easily the winner. Easily
Yeah.
the winner, Ray. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say which movie out of those 6 I think is the best.
No, whose list would you want to sit down and watch from start to finish more? Me or David Hoffman's?
I'm going to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
So with your list, Phil, I have only seen Ray. But I'm intrigued to see Rent and I'm intrigued to see August Rush. So I'll have to go with your list just because those are 2 movies I haven't seen back in like a trillion times. And I've never seen August Rush. I've heard it's a good music movie or has good music reference to it. I actually have the Rent soundtrack on vinyl. So I'd like to see the movie too.
There you go.
But David, good choices for you though.
Yeah,
Definitely
no wrong choices
Three
here.
good choices. No wrong choices. I'm surprised neither of you said School of Rock.
We move along to the game, and we are still joined by Jake Corlang, the granddaddy of the slappage. I'm going to see if I can find other ways.
I've always said Godfather.
I'm only 26, man.
We're going to go with Grandmaster next. I don't know what we'll do. We'll keep adding titles. But of course, it is a game. And because we have Jake on the show, we will make it a little musical themed here. But before we get to that musical game, let's, of course, get to know Jake a little bit more. Of course, since he is David's guest, I will get 2 questions to ask Jake. David Hoffman, since he knows him well, I will only get 1 question. Let's begin with one of my 2. Jake, has there ever been a song you've cried to? Maybe during a breakup, maybe the song was so beautiful in creation, you were just overcome with emotion. Maybe you were graduating and thought it best to cry right then and there, no matter the song. Has there been a song that you've cried along to?
Haley Reinhardt's version of Can't Help Falling in Love will, even if I'm in a great mood, will pull something in my head that will make me sad, and I'll start crying. Like that is, I mean, it's a beautiful song, but that if you want to just like, I need to feel something right now, listen to Haley Reinhardt's Can't Help Falling in Love. Not if you went through a breakup, because then you will cry. You will cry a lot, and you will ugly cry.
Now, Jake, would you say that song slaps?
Yes, it definitely slaps, but in a different way. In a way that like you need,
it
but you
slaps
don't
your
want.
heart.
Yeah,
It slaps your heart. All right, go ahead, David.
Jake, during sex, what's
let's prompt this properly.
Jake, during sex, what's more important? Eye contact or verbal communication of whatever kind?
God damn it. I'll go verbal communication.
Okay.
Jake, my last one here. What is the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you during a live performance? Of course, there are many different examples of this. I just, being the immature adult that I am, thought maybe you tooted on stage and then your drummer's like, dude, what the hell? I have to drum through this? But is there anything else? Maybe you unplugged yourself and then you had to pretend like you're playing and then find a way to plug yourself back in. What is the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you during a live performance?
What kind of embarrassment are we talking about? Just flat like that's embarrassing.
Wherever you want to take it.
or something that like I felt embarrassed or that about the next day.
Sure, wherever you want to take it.
Just because it was dumb. I didn't plan it out and didn't think of it at all logistically. I once played this Battle of the Bands when I was like 18 because I was really at the time into really high energy performing bands. Like I loved watching bands like the Wombats.
I love the Wombats.
Blink-182, Fall Out Boy. Like I just loved what like they just go and do spins and jumps and it just looked really really cool. And I remember like I really wanted to win this Battle of the Bands for whatever reason. Like I was really competitive about this. I wanted to go the extra mile and just like really like wow them in terms of performance. So there's this one section of the song where I thought like this would be really cool if I did like a really rad spin.
A spin being you spin the entire guitar while
no like me physically
your body.
like yeah my body like
doing a full 180. Yeah. 360.
No, 360. A full. What even is a full 180? Like going back to the Dua Lipa song, like I've done a full 180. That's half a circle.
That's hilarious.
Okay, but yeah. So I was gonna do a full spin, and I knew exactly at what point of the song I was going to do it, and I went up, and I went in front of like the audience, just really like showcase myself. And I was about to do this. And I have the bass up, I do the spin, and then my legs kind of get tangled, and I just eat I just fall flat on my face in front of everyone.
Oh, man.
And that whole I'm going to look so cool when I do this just went from the exact opposite. I just looked
it did a full 360. Yeah, it did a full
360 of what my intention of the reaction was going to be. I thought people were going to think I was rad and cool. And it was one of those things where like while in the middle of the action, you hear the gasps of people thinking like I'm about to be amazed. And then just to like a sigh of kind of disappointment. Like, oh, okay, no, I'm right. He's just an idiot.
All right. Beautiful answer to the question. Let's move along to the game, and I'll describe it right here. In honor of Jake joining us via music, we will. I know. There was an off-air conversation that was just had right there. We will have a game, and I like to call it Volume Up. And essentially just going to be a more than or less than, but with the term volume up or volume down. Me and David will be hosting, and whenever we do host, we will be giving you a set number. It will be the two contestants' job then to decide whether or not it is volume up or volume down from that number. Pretty self-explanatory. Jake, who would you like to face against first in this game?
I'll challenge you, Phil.
All right.
Okay, so
Hoffman,
my game
you're hosting first.
I'm challenging you. Or
to the death.
Oh, you better challenge him. My game first. Let me preface this,
please,
by saying that this is one of my favorite bands of all time.
Okay.
Responsible for a few of my all-time favorite songs, Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
They released an album many years ago, famously stocked with chart-topping bops. The album Rumors came out in 1975. All right, we're going to go to you, Jake, first. Do you want to turn the volume up or down on that one? 1975.
Oh, okay. So volume up would be 1976.
So if I think Rumors came after 1975, I say volume up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go volume down. Volume down.
Okay, Phil.
I think it's going to be 74 or earlier, so I will go volume down as well.
Both wrong. So
oh, wow.
1977.
Okay. You saying 1975 because I knew it was in between that 74 and 70. Like I was going to say 76, but okay, I guess it came in 77. So I was thinking leaning more towards coming out in 74 too.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely 77. Volume up would have been the correct answer there. So still no points on the board yet. Phil, we're going to you first this time. In millions, how many copies is it claimed that Rumors sold, according to a simple Wikipedia research session? Is it 46 million? Would you like to go volume up on that or volume down?
I'm going to go volume up because I think history has been kind to it and they probably accrued more. I think initially it was probably around there, but I think it's volume up.
I'm going to go volume up just because I know the numbers.
You do know the numbers?
Wow.
I know that at one given moment of time, 1 in 6 households had a copy of Rumors.
I mean, that surprises me now because it's according to Wikipedia, the claimed number is 40 million.
I heard
Oh, so
80 million once at one point.
All right. Well, we'll
We're going off of
Given
David's
that you
hockey
both
numbers.
went volume up
Okay.
on that, you'd either both get a point or you both wouldn't get a point. So we'll just we'll go off my numbers for now.
Sure.
It wouldn't make any difference to the game. Let's be clear about that. Okay. For how many weeks, non-consecutive, was the album at the top of the Billboard 200?
Are we still talking about Rumors here?
Yes.
Yes.
Up or down on 43 weeks? Jake, you first.
43 weeks is a long time.
That is
Well,
a
it's
long
less than a
time.
year. And then 70, that came out in 77 too.
Mhm.
Trying to think other records that probably would have come in 77 or 78. Just because I have no points, so I'm just gonna, I have nothing to lose here. I'm gonna go up, volume up.
Up on 43. Phil.
Wow. I think it's volume. I think it's volume up as well. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to go volume up as well.
Shockingly, it's volume down.
Jeez
Well, you
Louise.
should have just went down so at least one of us would get a point or
Right.
not.
I know.
At this rate, who knows what...
I do still have a
Okay,
skipping stone
the correct
available to
number-
me, though.
You do have a skipping stone. 31 non-consecutive. So maybe it spanned
Oh, wow.
43 weeks, but 31 weeks, right, which is still
That's
lot.
That's a long time.
still a lot.
It's a long
Okay. For points this time.
Yeah, please.
Lastly, on this specifically, the total length of the album is 43 minutes. Would you like to go volume up or down on that, Phil?
I'm going to skip this one because I bet Jake knows this, and I'm afraid that he'll just pounce on it once I
What
get it
would
right.
you have said?
I would have said I probably would have said volume up. I think it's a bit longer. I know Stevie likes
Okay.
to saunter her way through an album.
I have that on vinyl, and I don't think it took me more than 43 minutes to listen to the whole. So I'm gonna go volume down.
Yeah. 39 minutes.
Let's go.
And
There you go.
33
Thank
seconds. Unfortunately, Phil chose to skip it.
Oh wait, so I don't get the point? Oh, what the Come on, Phil.
This time for points.
Still to me.
Phil, we're going to you first. Lord,
I
who
am Lord.
cites Fleetwood Mac as an influence of hers, released a song named
That makes sense.
Team in 2013. Now, this is a song that has featured on That Slaps. Its peak Billboard Hot 100 position was 3. Would you go higher or, volume up or volume down on that, Phil?
It's specifically pertaining to the song.
The song Team. We live in cities you'll never see on... I won't sing it
Right,
anymore for
right,
the
right, right.
listeners' sake.
I'm gonna have to say volume. I'm gonna say volume down. Volume down for
Volume
that.
down. Meaning you're gonna say
I'm
it's-
thinking 4
Right, okay,
and
this is one of
below.
those 4 and
to
below.
100. Yeah,
Okay.
4 to 100.
I'm gonna say the same because I don't ever recall that song being on the charts.
We have points.
Double
You're both
points.
correct.
Yeah.
Volume down, as in it was lower on the charts. It was the highest position was 6. So
That's even higher than like I would have thought it would have been.
yeah, the Billboard
Yeah.
Hot 100.
Okay.
6 was its highest position. It's a very good song.
Jake, we're tied
Okay.
at 1.
You're tied. This is for the win, guys.
One.
For the win.
It doesn't
It
matter if
could
we're
be.
tied at 40 or 0. We're still tied.
We're tied. We're tied.
Okay, according to Celebrity Net Worth,
Okay.
Lord is estimated to be worth $25 million. Who should we go to first here? You
Goes
guys
to
are
Jake
tied.
first.
I guess we'll go to Jake first.
I'm gonna say volume down.
Okay. Phil. This could be for the win, Phil.
It could be, but my problem is I actually do think it's volume down. I hold no advantage. I don't know what the tiebreaker is. So I'm going to have to go. I think it's because she's only released 2 albums. I can't imagine 25 is pretty substantial. Like, I don't even think somebody like Sean Kingston has $25 million. So I'm going to have to go with volume down and take this to a tiebreaker.
You're very correct. Both of you.
Okay.
2 points each now. Tied. You
Let's
know
go,
what? I
Jake.
didn't prepare a tiebreaker, but luckily enough, I have a number sitting right in front of me. So
Phenomenal.
So,
Phenomenal.
Have to do with
whoever
Lord or
gets
Fleetwood Mac.
closer to the actual number will win. And Phil, we'll go to you. We'll go to you first.
Yeah, that's fair.
What is Lord's net worth estimated?
Yeah, wow.
Okay,
so
we know it's less than 25. That's all we know.
It's less than 25
26.
million. I bet it's closer to, let's go with 20 million and a half. 20 and a half million, I should say.
Okay, 20 million and a half. 20 million and 50 cents.
Yes.
I'm gonna go like 8. I can't imagine she's worth that much money. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it, but I don't think has a net worth of over $10 million.
We have a winner, and it is Phil.
Oh, get out!
Yeah,
really?
He's closer.
Okay.
He's closer. It's the correct value was 16 million.
Okay,
Yeah.
then
wow,
she has twice as much money as or she's worth twice as much money as I thought.
It's because her second album, Jay.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. All right, guys, that was great. Fleetwood Mac inspired. I love that. Mine is inspired via randomness. I went to my generic listening playlist, and I went to the first couple artists inspired that I thought you two might have some reference to at the very least. Nothing small, and hopefully you guys can both enjoy this one. We'll start with you, Jake, here. Super Saucy is the second studio album and 6th album overall by American hip-hop recording artist Baby Bash. It was released on March 15th, 2005. And the number that we're going to be inspecting here is that it debuted on the US Billboard 200 at number 15. The album, Super Saucy, debuted on the US Billboard 200 at number 15. Volume up being 14 to 1, or volume down being 16 to infinity.
And this was in 2005.
2005, yes.
I was neither living in America or really listening to a lot of music then. So
we were listening to European radio stations.
I know.
At that age.
I don't know. What were the Dutch radio stations? I don't even remember. I'm going to go volume down.
Volume down being, again, number 16 to infinity. Yes?
I don't think it was higher than 15.
Okay.
I have no idea. Literally no frame of reference or any clue. I'll just say volume up. We'll go with something different.
So somebody's going to get a point
Somebody's
here
getting
off
points.
the top.
Yeah, that's the idea here.
I like this. We're playing more aggressively here.
Which is vastly different than what me and Jake started out. And also vastly different is that Jake is now a point behind David Hoffman, who did indeed get it correct. Volume up. It debuted at number 11. Again, that is Super Saucy by Baby Bash.
I know what I'm listening to tonight.
Absolutely. Next, and again, do remember, Hoffman, that you have a skipping stone at your disposal at any point in time.
Do I get a skipping stone? What's this?
Unfortunately, no. Natalie Cole's immortal classic, This Will Be an Everlasting Love, was released November 22nd, 1975. And the number that we're going to be inspecting here, guys, is it peaked at 49, number 49 on Billboard's Top 100. So we're looking at 49. David Hoffman, do we go volume up or volume down? Volume up being 48 to 1, and volume down being 50 to 100.
I'm leaning towards volume up. I feel like it had to 49. I mean, it's a boppy song.
You guys familiar with the song?
Absolutely,
yeah.
This will be.
Yeah.
So
Hoffman, you're locking in at volume up.
Volume up. Yeah.
Volume up. Okay.
I'm going to play like the psychology game here because I would think that song has charted higher, but you're making a point of it to bring it up, and 48's low. So if it was so obvious that it was going to be, it did chart above 48. That's the question you chose. I feel like you're trying to make a point here. So I'm going to go volume down, and I'm going to be intrigued to find out the answer.
Okay. This means that once again, another point will be added, and it will be added to David Hoffman's score. It is indeed volume up.
Let's try to play psychology games.
I know. I would have thought like that song couldn't have not charted at 48, but maybe it did because why else would we be talking about it?
Right.
It charted at number 45, actually. That's where we went to.
It's still charted low, though.
It's still charted pretty low, fairly low.
I would have gone higher than that as well. That seems so
classic,
low.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, guys. Number 3 here, Jake. We have to catch up on some ground here. We'll start off with Hoffman to
I
see
would
if
have
we can.
have had more points if you didn't use your little stepping stone last time.
Well, he hasn't used it yet. Here we go. Rihanna, or Riri, as she has often let me call her, has a very prestigious career that will no doubt have her see the inside of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member herself. But according to Billboard, she has 3 number 1 hit songs: Volume Up or Volume Down. Volume Up being 4 and above, Volume Down being 2 and below. We'll start with you, Hoffman. 3 number 1 hit songs for Riri.
I would go Volume Up. I think there's been at least like 5 or 6. I don't know, but Volume Up.
Volume Up. We will go to you, Jake.
I have a hard time believing that she had under 3 number 1, so I'll go Volume Up too.
You both are going Volume Up, meaning no progress will be awarded here, and no points as well, as it is Volume Down. Guys,
dude,
she has 0. She has 0. It's unbelievable.
Umbrella didn't go number 1?
Umbrella didn't go number 1, and Stay didn't go number 1. But although, actually, I don't know if Umbrella would. I know it's a Jay-Z song, so I don't know if she would be attributed with that. She's featured on it.
And even like, what's that one she did with Eminem?
Yeah, she's been on a lot of huge songs.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, okay. That's actually interesting.
Jake, you are 2 behind and only have 2 questions left. So please, let's use some game strategy here. And we'll still stick with Hoffman, who has a skipping stone remaining. Post Malone does have a number 1 hit in his archive. You might have heard of it. It's called Circles. But the song in question remained on Billboard's Top 100 charts for 69 weeks. Just pulling a random number out of my ass here. 69 weeks. That is the number upon which we will be inspecting 69 weeks. David, how long was the song on the Top 100 charts? Was it Volume Up by being 70 or more weeks, Volume Down being 68 and below weeks?
I'll say Volume Down.
He'll say Volume Down being 68 and below. Jake, unfortunately, there is not much wiggle room for you here. Where are you going?
I want to say Volume Down, but like it doesn't help me, right? So I might as well go Volume Up to like keep a chance in this game.
You might as well. And it is indeed Volume Down.
Yeah, of course.
It was at 66 weeks, though, so fairly close.
Yeah. Wow, okay, close.
But yes, of course, how embarrassing to have a song be on the charts for only 66 weeks.
Only 66 weeks.
A lost opportunity there.
Yeah.
Especially for Post Malone.
Guys, we will go to our 5th and final one. This one really doesn't matter since Jake cannot catch up unless Hoffman is feeling charitable. But we will go to. Yeah, we will go to.
What's the score now?
3-0.
3-0.
Okay.
Do you feel like offering anything?
Do you have a tiebreaker?
I do have a tiebreaker.
Okay. Why don't we make this one worth 3 points then?
Ooh,
but I still have my skipping stone.
You still do have your skipping stone. So this one or the next one, depending on what this question is, will be worth 3 points, as generously offered to Jake by Hoffman. Let's go, guys.
Chris Brown, we're going double or nothing here.
Essentially, Chris Brown has talent out the yin-yang, and he has seen a fair amount of success due to it, becoming a Billboard Top 100 artist for 313 weeks. Volume Up being 314 weeks or above, or Volume Down being 312 weeks and below. David, where do you want to go here?
Ooh. I think I'll skip this one. Let's go to the next one.
You do want to skip this one. Where would you have gone if you weren't able to skip? You would have gone below.
Volume Down.
And Jake, you would have then had to go Volume Up. And unfortunately, that would have been correct for you, Jake. We would have forced a tiebreaker. But as the volume is indeed up on that one, 338 weeks that Chris Brown has been a top 100 artist on the charts. But doesn't matter, because we skipped to the next question, which is this. Drake. Need I say more about the hot-sauced rapper? Well, yes, in order for there to be a game, we need to have me tell you more. So according to his Wikipedia page, he has 382 nominations for awards total in his career. This is true. This is factual. But what isn't for sure is that he has 190 total award wins. Guys, 190 total award wins according to his Wikipedia page. David, are we going volume up, being 191 and above, or volume down, being 189 and below total award wins?
What was the total nominations again?
Total nominations are 382.
382. If he won 190, well, that would be half. He'd be winning half of. I would say volume down. That would be an extremely impressive rate of wins.
So he says volume down. Jake, you have only one direction to go here.
I only have one choice, but I do believe it's volume up because Drake is huge.
I mean,
yeah,
we'll
people love Drake.
We shall see. So Jake chooses volume up, and he believes in the heart of his breast that he does have a volume up here. And it is true. It is actually volume up. He has 192. Wow. I don't know if they channel into the whole crowd there, Nickelodeon Awards and MTV Critics' Choice. I don't know what they do to get this number, but it is indeed volume up. So way to go, Drake. And we now go to our tiebreaker. Ooh, we love to see it.
Okay.
As any good tiebreaker has, how many total nominations has Kanye West accrued in his career, according to his Wikipedia page?
God.
We always got to include Kanye. And David Hoffman, we'll go to you first. Actually, you know what? No, I'm sorry. We will go to Jake Corlane since he forced the tie. Jake, how many nominations has Kanye West accrued in his career?
Mm-hmm.
Use that as you will.
So I'm just spitballing a number.
Correct. Yeah. And closest
Whoever's
wins.
Closer wins.
And Drake had 300 what?
82.
382.
I'm going to go... I'll go 400.
He's going to go 400.
I'll go 400.
David Hoffman,
I'll
where are we
go
going?
399.
399, one under. He takes the volume down on that option. And David Hoffman, you knew that I had to go on a high number with Kanye West. It's Kanye. He is actually at 763 nominations. 763. Way criminally under. But Jake has crawled from the depths of despair to take a hold of victory.
Oh, how the
LA victory.
Look
at this. Try not to get too cramped in there with Jake's big energy over there.
Now.
Yeah.
It's big right now.
All right, guys.
And that's enough for the game. We move on.
That is enough for the game. Let's move along to some bass slapping.
Ooh. Live in studio, Jake Corlang on the bass. We had to have it. Thank you so much for that.
Now, it may sound a little different, but it feels more authentic because that is the real thing by Jake Corlang. Thank you so much, Jake. We appreciate you playing us live into this version of That Slaps.
I keep it live, bro.
Keep it live, bro.
Well,
right, Hoffman,
what is your That you Slaps? Are the godfather, the grandfather, one of the grandmaster of That Slaps.
Yes, not the grandfather, guys. 26. Slap bass has been going on for a long time. I'm like not even like the great grandson of it.
Well, you are in POWWOW terms. You are certainly the godfather. At least
I'll take the godfather.
So we had to have you on. All right, I'll go first. My That Slaps is a song called "Closer" by Powers.
Okay, I was going to say, if you said Chainsmokers.
No, it's a good, you know what? I consider it to be a very good Sunday morning pancake flipping song. Like, it's kind of a jam. It's got like a little beat to it, but it's very it feels very Sunday morning to me. So check it out. Closer by Powers. It slaps.
Mine is going to actually be a movie. And it's because I saw it this past week. Guys, I'm going to have to go with Cyrano. Now, I don't know if either one of you are aware of what this one is, but it's, you probably do, Hoffman, but it's Cyrano, and it's starring Peter Dinklage. And guys, I sit down to watch this film. It's a musical. I had no idea. It's a musical. All of a sudden, the girl named Roxanne starts singing. I'm like, wow, that's really bold. So it's going to be like a musical outside of Peter Dinklage because he'll probably just be like the guy who's a poet, and he'll just maybe at best, I guess he'll rap. No, he starts singing, guys. I had no idea what I was stepping into. Cyrano, Peter Dinklage's performance is genuinely a fantastic performance. I haven't seen the rest of the nominations, Hoffman. That's for another day. But it could be. I thought it was an Oscar-nominated worthy performance. As it stands, though, an all right film. It does certainly, if nothing else, though, indeed slap.
Okay, so my That Slaps is going to be a TV show, and it's the new Hulu show Pam and Tommy, the show about Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee's sex tape that got leaked.
Pammy Lee's sex tape.
It's really interesting because you kind of watch it and you kind of get to see. I mean, obviously it's from their perspective, but you gain a new respect for kind of Pamela Anderson because they really, really portray her to be like a very smart, educated, like passionate person that I feel like in history that the press has not showcased her as. Just
yeah, absolutely. I've only seen the first episode so far, but it was very good, and that's that was right before I left for the US. I'm very excited to get back and watch the.
No, it's definitely the story itself is crazy, and it also like really makes you kind of, especially because we were all born and around the time this happened, 95, 96. We didn't really consciously know, but it kind of really puts you in a perspective of the birth of the internet and kind of just like how the internet revolutionizes so many different things. And this context is just like a sex tape that got leaked, but so that's really interesting. And just kind of getting I feel like I get to know a little bit more about Pamela Anderson as a person and not just like a figure that I think she's kind of, or a figure that she's been portrayed for however many years.
Yeah, it humanizes her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, it slaps. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jake. As in a weird turn of events, we will say goodbye to you during That Slaps, the only person who we would probably ever do this to. So, thank you for joining us today, Jake. We loved having you on. Granddaddy, Funk Master, Souladific, everything possible. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It's been fun.
Before we truly head out of here, we got some thank yous to hand out. One, of course, being Mr. Well, I'll let you say this one, Hoffman, as it is live and in person. Go ahead and give him a nice big hug and a smooch.
Thank you to Jake Corling, not just for being here today, but also for all the work that he did, in helping us create this podcast and make it what it is. Not just for That Slaps, but for a few other things as well. Helped make this podcast sound so beautiful. So thank you. And obviously there are a few other thank yous. Thank you to Cass and Crossland as well for some of the music that you hear on the show.
And thank you to Tara Amstutz and Josh Hauntz for their wonderful contributions. We of course could not do the podcast without any of these people, but thank you so much to you all. And then of course a huge ginormous thank you to you, the audience, for which, of course, this would not be possible. Thank you so much for listening and continuing to subscribe and listen to all of the POWWOW podcast episodes in the quote-unquote bank that we got stored there that you can listen to on wherever you listen to your podcasts, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. I think we even have a Google Podcast link on there, everywhere except for Pandora, because screw you, Pandora!
Are you asking me who would win in a fight between me and a bear? Please, I survived the mosh pit at the Avenged Sevenfold concert.